so the stream is technically on. Now it's going to set up. Alright, go on there.
Right.
Alright, go on there.
Right. How bad does it sound?
Alright, go on there.
Right.
And there's no way to
How
do the
bad does
mics,
it
right?
sound?
Alright, go on there.
Right.
And there's no way to
How
do the
bad does
mics,
it
right?
sound?
Alright, go on there.
Right.
Yeah. And there's no way to
How
do the
bad does
mics,
it
right?
sound?
Alright, go on there.
I'm right next to this thing, though. Yeah. And there's no way to
How
do the
bad does
mics,
it
right?
sound?
Alright, go
Hello,
on there.
hello,
I'm
hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Crazy News Raiders.
You know we're not like live yet, right?
Can you hear that, though? Is that good?
Listen.
Right next to the
Episode of the Real Crazy News Raiders.
You know we're not like.
There's no choice, right? The mics don't work.
No, it sounds fine.
Okay. Did you send me? Did you say upcoming on the YouTube channel?
What?
Did you put it as like upcoming on the YouTube channel?
Oh wait, you're live now.
I am.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. What's going on? Am I live?
Let me check.
It's not letting me open it.
Yeah, you're live.
I can't see it.
You don't need to see it. I'll show you on here.
All right.
There.
I'm just gonna tell everyone we're live.
Yes, you're live.
All right.
Entertain them now.
Can you send me the link?
Go on your YouTube page.
Yeah.
Look at the FaceTime. It's fun.
Yeah, but I want to post it. Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm not shy saying that you are live.
Okay.
They're gonna start leaving, Rich.
Who's here?
2 people.
Oh, hello everyone, and welcome back to our first ever episode of the Real Crazy News Raiders live. So, first off, we're going to be going through, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. Really helps out a lot. And we're going to go through a couple things. Some things are going to be like Geno Smith we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, QBs. We're going to talk about receivers, tight ends, linebackers, what's going on free agency, since I don't know what's going on. They're doing very, very bad. And I'm not getting set up right now. So, well, everyone, I think we're going to get right into it. Vin, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let me just get my hat.
You're live right now, bro.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and 1.5, and
I'm doing the intro.
0. Ready? 3. Vinny, ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Crazy News Raiders. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about Geno Smith, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, everything, all the Raiders free agent needs, and everything that the Raiders can potentially do this offseason. So, first off, let's talk about a little bit of Geno Smith. So, Geno, we traded a third-round pick for him, which was the third-round pick 82, I'm pretty sure, from the Davante Adams trade. So, we basically traded Davante Adams for Geno Smith, which, in my opinion, is an amazing trade. Geno, he's probably a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. He's definitely top 15, but he can be top 10. So, this is a major win for the Raiders. It was a great trade. And if you look at it, it was honestly a good trade for the Seahawks because they have Darnold now too. And since they kind of just got younger, but still, Geno Smith's a much better quarterback than Sam Darnold. So some notes I have on Geno Smith. He was top 5 in passing yards. He had 21 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. The interceptions, don't get too scared by them yet. I know that they look really, really bad, but his interceptions, they were not all of them his fault. Some of them were deflected, tipped, but then at the same time, some of his picks were horrendous. Like some of them were, I didn't even know who he was throwing it to. But overall, I think he's known for his accuracy. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. He had a 70% completion rating last year. And, you know, I know he's taken a step down since when he was with Pete Carroll, but Pete Carroll was the one who, you know, revived his career. So can revive his career again and make him turn into a great quarterback again. So first up, I want to talk about the offensive line because Geno Smith, he needs a good offensive line. He was running for his life in the Seahawks, and that's kind of the reason why they had a bad year last year. The Raiders' offensive line right now, if we could pull it up, it's going to be Colton. Here, let me get out of the way. So first off, this is the offense right here. Am I on the screen? Can I see? Okay, so here's the offense right here. We got receivers. We have Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker. Then you got our guy at the offensive line. We have Colton Miller starting at left tackle. We have my guy, Alex Kappa, starting at left guard. Center, we have Jackson Powers Johnson. Right guard is Arm, and our right tackle is DJ Glaze. So this is all of it right now. This is not 100% a lock to be happening, and this is just an all right offense. It's not even close to a top 20. And then on the other side, on the right side, we have Brock Bowers and Randall Keaton as our third string wide receiver. Our running back, Zamir White, and our quarterback, Geno Smith. Let me get in here. So, Geno Smith, you know, we know he's a good quarterback, but this offensive line and these weapons is not even going to be close to as good enough. Listen, Zamir White, if he wants to go back to his 2022, 2023 final 3 games of the year, I'd be thrilled with that. I just don't see that happening after the year he had last year. I like Zamir White. I just don't know if he's going to be able to go back to that ability and be a great running back like he was before. So, good quarterback. Who knows? Next up, we need a receiver. Right now, our receiving corps is Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker and Randall Keaton. This is not good. Like, this is what scares me a lot. The guy that I would sign, Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, he's going to be in, you know, wide receiver 2, maybe even a wide receiver 3. But I trust him. I think he's got those Pete Carroll connections, and he's still a solid receiver in this league. He's not a wide receiver 1. Jacoby's still going to be our 1, but he's going to be a good 2. And also, to have our wide receiver 2 and 3 as Trey Tucker and Randall Keaton, who both haven't shown basically that much in the NFL, like, I don't really trust that. Running back, like I said before, I hope we get someone new. And then tight end, Brock Bowers. That's always going to be great. Brock Bowers, best tight end in the league, undisputed. And then we have our offensive line. Left tackle, Colton Miller. Stud. Can we pull up the Raiders offensive line? All right, great. So we have our left tackle, Colton Miller. We have our left guard, Alex Kappa. We're going to get into that later. Our center's Jackson Powers Johnson, and our right guard is Dylan Parham. And then our right tackle, DJ Glaze. So I like this offensive line. I think that it's a nice line, but Alex Kappa, I do have to admit, he scares me. He won the Triple Crown for being the worst offensive lineman last year, and that's just really scary. He did not have good stats. He got cut by the Bengals. The Raiders signed him to something around a 2-year, $8 million deal. And I don't really trust that, honestly. I don't trust him to be a starter. And if he does start, which I'm 95% sure the Raiders will start him, let's say he does terrible, right? We always have Jordan Meredith to come into the game, start at left guard, and he was one of the most reliable offensive linemen for the Raiders last year. Jordan Meredith, I trust him a lot. I sort of trust Alex Kappa only because he has connections with John Spytek. And I trust this organization so much. This is the most trust I've ever had in it. So far, they've done everything right this offseason there's only one reason why John Spytek would bring in Alex Kappa. He sees him having some type of potential. Next thing we're going to get into is the linebacker corps. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in today. We have some live people watching. We're just going to cut this real quick, and I have to do a couple things to the technology. So give me like 1 minute. Okay. Sorry about this. Okay. We are basically good. Okay, so next up, we're going to talk about our linebackers. So, linebacker corps, if you could pull that up, please. So, the Raiders, right now, our linebackers, we have Amari Burney, we have Tommy Eichenberg, Kanai Malga, and we have Amari Gaynor. But this isn't just it. We also just signed a Landon Roberts, who actually viewed my Instagram story. If he's watching, thank you. He's a linebacker from the Steelers. He's a hard hitter, and he's 30 years old. That's the only thing. He's gonna be, he's gonna be a good player, solid, but you're not gonna have him for that long since he is 30 years old. Pete Carroll, he's gonna try to work his magic, try to turn into a Bobby, but who knows if that's gonna happen. We're gonna try our very, very best to turn this guy into a great linebacker. But I have to admit, this linebacker corps is not what I want at all. We just lost Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo, which is very, thin and really thins down since we lost two of our top linebackers. Landon Roberts, he's going to help boost the roster, but additional depth is still needed. There's, a little bit of talent available in free agency, but there's nobody that I'm going to say, okay, this guy is the future of the Raiders. I trust this. It can be a good thing, though. Look at Robert Spillane. Look at what we turned Robert Spillane into. What if Landon Roberts, what if we sign a player in free agency and they turn into a guy like Robert Spillane?
You want to check chat?
What's it say?
Someone asked a question. How much cap space do they have?
So, the Raiders' cap space, as of right now, it's still not confirmed, but since the new year is starting right now, it started today. It means that there's going to be more information out there, but there's going to have to be a lot of numbers, a lot of math being dealt. See all the contracts since the new year began at like 4:00. Hopefully we get that out soon. If I had to,
35 million in cap space to beat that.
what?
35 million.
So it just came out, $35 million the Raiders have in cap space. This is, a nice amount of money. You're not going to sign a superstar since Max Crosby's worth $35 million already, but you're going to be able to get 3 or 4 players that are good players. Let's just go through a couple more questions. Great graphics. Thank you for that. Just subscribed. Thank you so much for that. That's really going to help us out. So now we're going to get back into the video. So, Vin, by the way, you're showing the cat, by the way.
Yeah, no.
All right. So let's get into our linebackers. I was in the middle of speaking there, so let's get back to that.
We're back at it.
We're back. Uh-oh. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
This kid's poverty.
1 second, everybody.
Bro, there's like 10 people watching. Just go back.
All right. Sorry about that. So, back to what I was saying. Raiders linebackers, very thin. We're going to need to sign a couple people. The top guy in the market that I'm signing, Eric Kendricks, former AFC West Chargers linebacker. Eric Kendricks, he's been a solid linebacker his entire career, but the only bad thing is he's 33 or 34 years old. That's old, and I don't know how much longer he's got left in the tank to complete at a high level. I still trust him. I still see him as the top linebacker out there, but I really don't know if he's the answer. Now, here's the thing. If the Raiders are trying to win now, which every single thing that they've done this offseason is showing that the Raiders are trying to win now, this means that I think that Eric Kendricks should be a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that he's a top linebacker out there. He's going to help solidify this linebacker corps. And I've been a fan of him for a couple of years. I think that he's a good linebacker. And I think if we brought him to the table, we brought him to the team, help him compete with, some players, help teach a guy like Tommy Eichenberg, or if we draft someone in the draft, maybe Jahad Campbell, that can help us. And he's going to help develop, and he's going to help us solidify this linebacker corps right now. So we're going to go through his stats real quick. His stats, am I right about this? They're 138 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. So this is nice. These are nice stats. 138 total tackles is great. 2 interceptions, solid for a linebacker. 3 sacks, and this is what I really like. He had 3 forced fumbles, which is a lot. And then he's known for being consistent. That's what we want. He's a consistent linebacker, been consistent most of his career. And I trust him to be on this team, help solidify this linebacker. So I'm going to go through another guy, Jerome Baker. He's a versatile linebacker with speed and coverage ability. He's a strong tackler, capable of playing in various roles on the field, and he's got upside potential. He's going to turn him into a great player, hopefully. And I really do emphasize, and I can't emphasize this enough, Pete Carroll's ability to develop any position on the field, I trust completely. Look at Geno. Look at Russell Wilson. Look at the guy like Bobby Wagner. Look at everybody. He turned them all into great players. Last guy I'm going to talk about, E.J. Speed. So I think these are the top 3 guys the Raiders should sign. Eric Kendricks, Jerome Baker, and E.J. Speed. So E.J. Speed, I'm pretty sure is 29 years old. He's a better pass rusher, honestly. But he can still, he's still a good linebacker. And he's a good rushing the passer. I don't have that much information about him. Can you pull a stat? Yeah, it's fine.
What's his name?
It's all right.
What's his name?
It's all right. Thank you.
Oh,
For that.
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
He's got 1 interception. They won't hear me, but
What's his stats? Oh, there we go.
he's got 1 pick. He's got
So 1 interception.
He has 1 career interception. Stats. He's got 93 solo tackles.
93 solo tackles.
Just look at his film.
And, overall just a solid linebacker. He's not going to be the top guy in the market, but I trust him. He's fast. His name's Speed. My recommendation, Eric Kendricks. He's my top choice. He's got leadership, and consistent play would bring immediate stability to this Raiders linebacker position. And I hope that we do sign him, and I hope that he turns into a great player. So I just want to go over Landon Roberts. He's a good linebacker, brings some to the table. He's 30 years old. Hopefully the Raiders can develop him nice. Next, I want to go over a safety corps overview. So the safeties of the Raiders, can you pull that up right now?
Yeah.
So safeties of the Raiders, we just lost Trevon Merrick and Marcus Epps to free agency. This is a problem. Marek has been our best safety that we've had in a long time, and I really wanted the Raiders to re-sign him. I'm happy that he got his contract. He got a massive contract. I understand the Raiders not wanting to pay him, but I'm so happy that they stepped in and they signed safety Jeremy Chin, who's a hard hitter from the Washington Commanders. I'm pretty sure he's making around $8 million per year, and that's really going to help us. Jeremy Chin, he's a hard-hitting linebacker safety, and he can help play for the linebacker position. He's not going to play linebacker, but he can play up, and he's going to help this linebacker corps out. He's going to help the safety corps out. He's going to help everyone out. Excuse me?
Next is Tivoli Custom Framing.
I'm not done yet. So while Chin is a solid addition, Raiders Safety Corps not done yet. It better not be done yet, at least. So we just re-signed Isaiah Polamalu earlier this week to around a $2 million per year contract. No, I'm sorry, $4 million per year, I'm pretty sure. And I like that move. He won AFC Defensive Player of the Week one of the weeks earlier in the season, and he's also a hard hitter. You can tell that this Raiders team wants to bring back the Legion of Boom Part 2, and they're going to try to make this team turn into a great team, and hopefully this helps them out a lot. Isaiah Pola-Mao, I trust him as a third guy, but I don't really know if he can be that starting guy. If we do have to roll in the season with Isaiah Pola-Mao, I'd be fine with it. Not going to cry about it. So we got some free agent safeties. The top guy I would consider Julian Blackmon. So he's 26 years old. He's a solid player and he's reliable who can step in and start in year one. The thing about this is I considered in looking for a safety, I thought that I want a safety that can start year one with the Raiders, but I also want a safety that Pete Carroll can help develop. At 26 years old, that's perfect. He has some league experience. He can step in right away. He can play safety, learn besides Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Pola-Mao. And also, he's going to help develop because Pete Carroll is going to develop him. He's going to turn into a better player. Some of his stats you can see on the board right there. But, you know, Pete Carroll's coaching, Blackmon can continue to develop and improve. And, you know, that's about it. So, next up, we're going to do our ad break real quick, which is Tivoli Custom Framing. Let me go get some stuff.
You don't need to get stuff, it's fine.
Okay, so you can see on the screen some of Tivoli's great stuff. And then, can you see me? So, this is one of their pieces. You could do this for like anything. It could be a baseball. It could be a hockey puck, which is right here. It's a Luke Hughes signed puck with his rookie card in the frame. So they do this to frame. It's a shadow box. You can call them up for something like this, or you could check out their website, see what they have in stock. And something like this is always going to be in stock. So the signatures, that's not always going to 100% be in stock because, you know, they're signatures. But this has no signature. It's a letter collage. You can do this for any team. It could be a high school baseball team, middle school team, whatever you want. It could be hockey, football. What you do is you put the name on top, and then on the bottom we have some letters with the pictures inside of it. These go for $100 each. Yeah. All right, so that's about it for Tivoli. Let's jump right back into the show. But before we do that, I'm going to check out the chat, see what questions we have. Good points. Do you think the Raiders should re-sign Marcus Epps? I do not think the Raiders should re-sign Marcus Epps unless he wants to take a team-friendly deal. Marcus Epps, he was starting safety for the Raiders last year until he tore his ACL. And that was a major blow to this Raiders defense and to Marcus Epps. He was one of our most solid safeties next to Trayvon Marg, but he's 29 years old, and I don't know if he's going to be able to be at the level he was coming off an injury like that the year before. Look at Aaron Rodgers. I know he's 10 years older, but he fell off a lot after that Achilles tear. And, you know, playing safety, that's a really tough position to come back on. So if I had the choice, I would say no. I'd rather sign a guy like Julian Blackmon. But if we don't sign Julian Blackmon, I'd be okay with signing Marcus Epps. Any other things? All right, so that seems about it for the chat. If you want to ask a question, do it real quick because then we're going to get right back into the segment.
Someone asked me a question.
What is it?
Do you think that the Raiders made the right move by moving on from Spillane, and was he overpaid?
Okay. So, Spillane.
Good question, so you should say.
So, Spillane, this is the question that I was just asked. Do you think that moving on from Robert Spillane was the right move, and do you think he was overpaid? So, can you pull up Robert Spillane's contract real quick?
I can give you stats.
So, no, I want his contract.
Okay, I'll tell you that.
All right, so his contract, it's around, I'm pretty sure it's like 15 million, and personally,
37.5 million
for how long?
over 3 years.
So he's getting paid around $11.5 million per year. Spillane. He signed a 3-year, $37.5 million contract. And to pay a linebacker $11.5 million a year around, who's 30 years old, 29 years old, most people wouldn't like it, but I would love this move. And I'm disappointed that the Raiders didn't bring him back. I think that if we signed Spillane, it'd be a great, defensive piece. He's the heart of the team, and he was the best defensive player next to Crosby last year. Pay him $11.5 million. I don't care. We have the money. We have $35 million in cap space, and that's one of the moves that I'm very disappointed in the Raiders for not bringing back. So I see a question here. How do you feel about Geno Smith? Geno Smith, I talked about it earlier. I think Geno Smith is actually a much better quarterback than a lot of people realize. I looked at his, some film of his, and some things I realized he's a very accurate quarterback, but he needs time to throw. Last year, you can ask some people who's a Seahawks fan, it was not good. It was ugly. Geno Smith, he was running around a lot, and that's just not good for a guy who's a pocket passer, and he needs time to throw the ball. When he did have time to throw the ball, he was elite. He was top 5 in passing yards, and I trust him on this Raiders team, to be the starting quarterback, and I think he's going to give you a chance to win right now. So his stats were like 4,400 yards or something. He had 21 touchdowns. He had 15 interceptions. That's not a good ratio at all. I would like to get that touchdown number up, but also if you have a bad off,
53.
what?
QBR 53.
He had a QBR of 53, which is up and but Geno Smith, the interceptions, he had a bad offensive line, not a lot of touchdowns. He had a bad offensive line. So my number one thing is the Raiders need to sign an offensive lineman. Look at Mekhi Becton in free agency. He's pretty good. If you want to trade for someone, trade for Evan Neal. He's like a 5th-round pick you could give up for him. I would trade for Evan Neal from the Giants because he's a massive human being, and he's just really big. He played right tackle, didn't do good at right tackle, but if we move him to right guard or left guard like the Eagles did with Mekhi Becton, maybe he turns to a great pick and lives up to that hype where the Giants took him at around number 5 overall. So if that's all the questions, we're just going to go right ahead and start our next part. Any other questions? Okay, so I think we're just start our next part. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You don't have any more questions, right?
No.
All right. Let's do it. So for our next segment, we're going to be going to cornerbacks. Let me just get this ready real quick. All right. So, now are you ready, Ben?
Yes.
So, now we're going to go into cornerbacks. So, the Raiders lost cornerback Nate Hobbs to free agency, who's our starting nickelback last year for the Las Vegas Raiders. Nate Hobbs was probably a valuable cornerback last year, and this is a major blow to the Raiders losing him. He signed a 4-year, $48 million contract with around $14 million guaranteed, and this is expensive for Hobbs. This is $12 million per year. This is more money than Spillane's getting. And Hobbs, he was a great player for us when he was healthy. I cannot emphasize that enough. Hobbs was not healthy a lot, and it's not his fault, but this was the main reason why the Raiders didn't sign him. I'm disappointed that they didn't sign Hobbs, but I understand why they didn't offer him the amount of money that he got with the Packers. I wish Hobbs the best of luck in Green Bay, and he was, a good Raider, and once a Raider, always a Raider. So now we're going to look at free agency for some cornerbacks. So the top guy I'm going to sign free agency is Asante Samuel Jr., another Charger. So Asante Samuel Jr., he was one of the most reliable cornerbacks for a couple of years, and he's going to be able to step in for Hobbs and start playing at a high level right away. Hobbs, great player, wasn't healthy a lot. Asante Samuel, kind of like Hobbs. He's not always healthy, but when he is healthy, he's a great player. When he's in his prime, he's one of my favorite cornerbacks, and I think if Pete Carroll gets him, he can turn into a really, really good player. So right here, cornerbacks we have Kai Blue Kelly, who the Raiders just re-signed. Can you bring the cornerbacks back, please?
Yes, I do.
Kai Blue Kelly, DeCamerion Richardson. We have him. We have Jack Jones. I'm going to get into that later. Jacorian Bennett we have. And then our last cornerback is, we just signed the cornerback, Lonnie Johnson Jr., I'm pretty sure his name is. And so, I don't really know what we're going to do. I really I'm sorry about that. I hope that the Raiders find a cornerback like Asante Samuel Jr. He's my number one guy on the market. I'm pretty sure he was hurt most of last year, so he doesn't have that much stats. But I think that Pete Carroll can take Asante Samuel Jr., turn to a great player. He already is a great player, and he's going to help this cornerbacks group to win right now. So can you overall go to the Raiders' whole secondary? So as we pull that up, I just want to say Raiders' secondary it's weak, I have to admit. It's not what I expected going into the season of 2025. And a guy like Pete Carroll, I really expected this defense, and especially, I guess, the skilled player positions on defense, or the non-rusher pass rushers. I expected that to be great because he is, Pete Carroll's known for his defense, and I really thought that he was going to make this secondary really, really good. You could look right here. Some Harper, Isaiah Polamalu. We have Trey Taylor, Chris Smith, Jeremy Chin, Kai Blue Kelly. Now I want to talk about Jack Jones. Jack Jones, a lot of people, and I mean a lot, have been saying to cut Jack Jones. I hate this idea. I don't understand why you would cut Jack Jones. He was your best corner, outside corner last year, and I thought that, he plays with some swag. That can kind of get him in trouble sometimes with, I'm pretty sure he got fined for getting in a fight, but he was our best cornerback last year outside. And if we do cut Jack Jones, what are we going to do? I understand everyone's saying he was terrible without AP, but why can't we just keep him for the beginning of the season, and then, he plays terrible, then you can cut him, or at least try to trade him for a 7th-round pick. I'm saying that it's way too early to give up on Jack Jones, and I don't think that it's fair to. So here are some of his stats. You can look at them right here. And he had that one-handed interception from the Chargers game when they won 63-21, the Raiders. And the only bad thing I don't like about him, he can get himself in trouble by biting too early on a pump fake. For example, if it's a screen, you can figure Jack Jones out. And this happened earlier this year, I'm pretty sure, against the Chiefs. They faked the screen. Jack Jones went over, tried to pick it again, like the one-handed interception, but it didn't work. Instead, they had a wide-open touchdown, and that's one of the games that can either make or break him. So that's going to be about it for our corners. Actually, let me talk about Jacorian Bennett. Jacorian Bennett, JB0, that's his nickname, I guess. He showed a lot of improvement last year. Work, he came off an injury that, he was out for most of the year last year, but he was one of our best cornerbacks last year. He was really good, and he really showed some growth in the beginning of the season. Took a major jump from being a guy who might not make the roster in 2023 to 2024 to now he's came to the season, made into the roster, and he's actually turned into a great player. Hey Ben, text. Just you can text that live, by the way, since he just called me. But so that's gonna be it for our segment. I mean, I could do another segment. Do you guys like have a suggestion for me to do? I'm gonna answer a couple questions real quick, but see if we have anything here. I've got to go. Okay, 11 green screen. Actually, his quarterback rating was it. So, I heard. So someone commented, "What are your thoughts on Tavon Jenkins?" Do you mean Keyshawn Judd? Wait, hold on. Let me see something real quick.
Can you show yourself?
So, you just asked about someone asked about Tavon Jenkins. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know much about him. I know he's a college player, and I know that he's gonna be in the draft. But that's really all I know about him. If you want, give me like a quick, scouting report of him real quick in the comments. Because I don't know everything. But thank you for finding some that I don't know. Raiders Rebel, you said, although his quarterback rating against was 128, and he ended the season with 111 rating against. He gave up the most catches on our defense last year. What do you mean by that? I just want to say, you said, what do you think about RB? So I'm just going to answer a couple running backs that I think are really good. Ashton Jeanty, best running back in class, in my opinion. And he's going to be a guy the Raiders are going to look at to take at 6. A lot of people have him projected to go at 6. But if you don't want to look at Ashton Jeanty, take him at 6. You can look at guys in the second round. Look at Keyshawn Judkins. He's an Ohio State guy like Chip Kelly and TreVeyon Henderson, another Ohio State running back. I'm pretty sure the Raiders ran with both Keyshawn Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson at the combine. So that's going to be, 2 guys they're going to look to drafting in the second or third round. A lot of reports are saying that they're not going to come to the third round. But if you have to take him in the second, I would go for a guy like TreVeyon Henderson. But if you want to look at another running back, look at Ollie Gordon III. Look at guys like the UNC guy, Amarian Hampton. Those guys are all nice players, and I see them turn into really good. What?
Talk about taking Jeanty at 6.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Raiders taking Ashton Jeanty at pick 6. So Ashton Jeanty, he was coming off a career year, one of the college football running backs ever in a season. He had around 2,500 yards. He averaged like 9 yards per carry, and he just was a beast. He couldn't be brought down. Here's the thing. He hasn't been playing against great competition, which can scare me a little bit. He's a great running back, and I don't think that, running for 2,500 yards can be a fluke. But a lot of people think that him playing not as good as a competition like guys like Penn State is, a deciding factor in whether or not he's going to be a great running back. I think he's going to be a great running back. I think he's a can't miss, and I'd be 100% okay with the Raiders taking Ashton Jeanty at pick 6. So now I see in the comments talk about Jack Jones. So I talked about him a little bit earlier. I said that he's a reliable corner, and the Raiders should not cut him, and I think it'd be stupid to think about it. But we have some of Ashton Jeanty's highlights here.
Not anymore. I just took them down.
All right, yeah, take them down. I don't want to see them. Ashton Jeanty, good player. Trust him a lot. I think that'd be smart for the Raiders to pick at him at 6. If you don't look to pick at him at 6, look for a guy like T-Mac. Tetairoa McMillan, Arizona wide receiver. What?
Should I get his highlights up?
No, get his stats. So, McMillan, we're going to pull his stats up now, but McMillan's stats were really good. His jump ball ability, he's 6'5", 220 pounds, something around 220. He's like a Julio Jones almost. He's a little bit less athletic than Julio, but those jump balls, he's really going to bring the Raiders an X receiver. He's a guy like Julio. He's a big-bodied receiver, and he's really going to help Geno Smith so that if he does have to throw it up one or two plays, he can just throw it up to McMillan, and those balls are going to be like 70-30 balls, 80-20. He's going to have the higher percentage chance to catch that just because of his physical ability and how much bigger he is than the cornerback usually. So these are his stats right here. So feel free to look at them. They were really good. In my opinion, he's the best wide receiver in this year's class. Travis Hunter, I think McMillan's better than him as a receiver. Overall, Hunter's, of course, going to go as the higher pick because he can play both sides. What?
Can we wrap it up?
Yeah. So, I think that's going to be it for our live show, most of them. I just want to say a couple quick things. If I had to guess, a lot of people have been thinking about Shedeur Sanders. Sanders is risky. The Raiders have been saying they want to win now, and Sanders is not winning now. He's a 1 to 2 year quarterback. He's sitting behind Geno Smith. The Raiders want to make Geno Smith the quarterback of the future. So, drafting Shedeur, what if Geno turns into a great player? Then we'll be stuck with Shedeur sitting behind him, getting angry, not, saying that, why am I not playing? But we'll figure it out, and I don't think that they should take this. I think that you should look to a guy like, McMillan or Genty, someone like that. Last thing I want to say, my top 3 quarterbacks, Cam Ward, he's going to be number 1 pick probably. He's going to be top 3 definitely. Shedeur and Jackson Dart. Those 2 guys flip a coin in my opinion. I think they're both great. If I had to guess, Shedeur's going to go higher, and I don't disagree with that. But I do think a lot of people sleep on Jackson Dart, and he's going to be a guy who's going to sleep a lot like Bo Nix to the Broncos. I could see Jackson Dart going in the top 15 picks, and I'm almost going to say there's a 90% chance he goes in the first round. So if that's going to be it for the show, that's going to be good. We had a nice live show. Can you guys give me some feedback or even ask one more question before we end it? Let's see. So you say Judkins is the favorite running back in the draft. I like Judkins too, but at the same time, I like Genty more, only because stat-wise, Judkins, he did have to split carries with TreVeyon Henderson a little bit, but Judkins, that's going to help out. Chip Kelly knows Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson. So if he says, Keyshawn Judkins is my guy, Chip Kelly's going to say this to John Spytek, and John Spytek's going to draft him. So that's going to be it for our live show. I want to thank you all so much for watching it. Make sure to check out Tivoli Custom Framing. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're going to make a lot more videos like this.